Welcome, everyone, to another edition of How I See It. Let me ask you a question. What is truth? Merriam-Webster defines truth as the real facts about something. But there was a time when society didn't need a dictionary to tell us what truth was. We simply knew it. We knew gravity was true whether we believed it or not. We knew electricity would shock you, maybe even kill you, if it was mishandled. Truth existed independent of feelings, opinions, or personal preferences. There were moral truth as well. Right was right, wrong was wrong. Good and evil existed. Men were men and women were women, and the reality was not determined by emotion. But somewhere along the way, truth changed. Now we hear phrases like my truth, your truth, their truth. Truth has become personalized, customized, even reshaped to fit individual feelings. Instead of discovering the truth, society attempts to define it or invent it. And the results are everywhere. Ask simple questions that previous generations would have answered without any hesitation, and suddenly leaders stumble. Ask whether there are two genders, and Supreme Court nominees equivocate. Ask whether a biological man can become a woman, whether men can become pregnant, and grown adults appear dumbfounded. Watch their discomfort, confusion, and even the fear of answering honestly in a society that avoids the truth. Why? Because when truth becomes subjective, reality itself becomes negotiable. But truth doesn't change because culture changes. Truth is not altered by public opinion, political pressure, or emotional discomfort. No, truth simply is, well, truth. And if there is no absolute truth, then there can be no absolute standard. And if there's no standard, then there's no accountability. And if there is no accountability, there's no right and no wrong. Only feelings, only impulses, only chaos. And history has repeatedly shown that when truth disappears, disorder follows. Chaos eventually gives way to control. Confusion opens the door to tyranny, and societies built on feelings eventually collapse under the weight of their own contradictions. This struggle over truth is not new. It began in the Garden of Eden. You see, God gave Adam explicit, clear commands regarding the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But when Eve encountered the serpent, truth became distorted. God's words were altered. Doubt entered the conversation. The serpent appeared to create confusion. Eve embraced the deception, and Adam completely abandoned his responsibility. The result was exactly what it has always been when truth is rejected: blame, division, fear, and brokenness. Adam blamed Eve and God himself. Eve blamed the serpent. The serpent, he's just laying over there silent, satisfied that confusion had accomplished what rebellion could not. Thousands of years later, little has changed. Today, our children are drowning in confusion because society refuses to anchor itself to truth. They are told there are no absolutes, no moral standards, no fixed identity, no objective reality. They are taught to follow their hearts while ignoring scripture that says the heart is deceitful above all things. And we wonder why anxiety, depression, hopelessness are on the rise. We wonder why so many young people feel lost, why truth itself has become offensive. When truth disappears, people lose their foundation. Politicians manipulate facts rather than tell the truth. Morality becomes relative. Accountability vanishes, and everyone receives affirmation, but few receive honesty. We celebrate feelings while ignoring wisdom. We protect emotions while abandoning reality. Yet despite all of humanity's efforts to redefine truth, there is one truth that remains unchanged. Truth still exists, looking at us like we've lost our minds. And maybe we have. But ultimately, truth is not merely a concept. No, truth is rooted in God himself. And one day every person will stand before that absolute truth. There will be no my truth or your truth, no excuses, no spin, no redefining reality. Only truth as established by the Almighty Himself. Perhaps it's time we stop pretending otherwise. Perhaps it's time we stop lying to ourselves and confusing our children. Perhaps it's time we stopped fearing the truth and started telling it again. Started to hold one another accountable, to speak honestly, reject confusion, stand for what is real, even when it's unpopular, because societies built on truth endure. Societies built on illusion do not. And maybe, just maybe, our future will be much better when we once again have the courage to call truth what it is, and more importantly, to tell it. At least, that's how I see it. And so until next time, tell the truth.